Here we are. We have not been obliterated yet. Here we are one more time. Welcome to the program. Jimmy Carter here with me. Hey, Jimmy, how are you?
I am doing okie dokie. It's spring break time for some people. I
Oh,
don't take
man.
spring break, but yes, some people do. And oh man, they've had some of these man on the street interviews on Fox, and it's a great bit. Jay Leno used to do it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
You know, when you ask young people or just about anybody you meet, out there, anything about current events, and
It's
and it's
hilarious.
not surprising how dumb everybody is, but it's a sad situation in this country that people are as uninformed, and that's why we get the leaders we get. That's why
Yes.
we get some of the laws we get, and
Yep.
that's why we get what we get.
I think
But
you're
I
right.
mean,
I
and I know young people are going to be a little dumb about stuff. That's just a little bit, but it's just shameful that I mean, I've run into it. I ran into it as a teacher, that people, and I know when they're in college, you're in a bubble. You
Mhm.
really are. You're socially trying to learn about just how to get along in the world.
Yeah.
And you're not following the moment by moment
Yeah,
issues
that's
in the
true.
world. And you kind of cut a little slack from that
Yeah,
when you're
I
in
agree.
college.
I
But
agree.
I think that, so I won't go after them on that. But some people, will carry that into post college
Hmm.
where they just don't seem to know about what's going on in the world. And
I
I'm
agree with
always
you.
amazed by that to me. I mean, I don't expect everybody to be a newsman, but the sad thing is just getting me. And it really happened last week. And this does not mean anything to 99.3% of anyone who could possibly be listening.
Okay.
But I have been sad since they announced that CBS Radio News was going away.
I saw your
That
post.
news
Yeah.
on the hour. And I've grew up with it. It's been around for almost 100 years or some ridiculous thing like that. And it's been a reliable, it is not some wild, crazy liberal thing. It's just a short newscast that they used to have everywhere. And radio stations always had news
Do they
in the
still?
70s
Yeah,
and,
yeah,
and
yeah.
really less so in the 80s and less so in the 90s and everything.
When we
People
were
just, I don't know.
when we were doing radio, we did our own. We did a segment of world news and we did local news. Right, we did our own. But I know on some of the AM station, we were FM. On some of the AM stations that I've produced on, we had ABC or CBS, and it would come down via satellite at the top of every hour.
Yeah, it's just like the NBC nightly news coming on at 5:30 or 6
Yeah,
o'clock
yeah, it
or
was like
7,
clockwork.
whatever your time zone is. And the same way with the Today Show
And
comes on
and can I
at
tell
7
you,
o'clock in the morning, and it's news.
as much
I mean,
as
it's what's going on in the world.
you're right. And as much as we're so technology driven today to go on to Yahoo or AP News or Reuters or wherever we go to get our news, it's still so much nicer and so quick to get
Yeah.
that top hour news.
And
You
that's
can
what I
get
like
everything.
about it.
Yeah,
I
me
mean,
too.
and I'll probably even, maybe I'll hear the news at 6 o'clock. I listen. It's just a, if you see the world is there basically based on who their top story is.
Yeah, for sure.
And okay, well, and then the second story, if it's something else, then you feel pretty good, that the world is not on fire or being attacked by Martians or
Something.
whatever else
Yeah, yeah.
could be the possibility. So it's just a shame that kind of, and I hate that, and the fact that it's being replaced by TikTok news or something along that lines. I heard
Is it?
someone
I mean, is it?
just,
What are they doing?
I mean, if it's being replaced, I don't think literally being replaced by them, but it's just
ABC's
that
still rolling.
if people want to get any news,
Yeah.
there's nowhere to get it.
Well, I
they're
used
just saying, okay, well, I'll find out, or somebody will see it on Yahoo and relay that information if it's that important,
Right.
which is just a bad way to go.
I
mean,
agree with you. I used it in a weird way. And of course, we're in the industry, or have been, you much more than me, immersed in it. So we absorb all this information all the time from all over the place, and we try to decide what's important, what's not important. We sift through that, but it's nice to have somebody in the news director room or seat that says, hey, these are the top 5 stories or whatever.
Yeah.
And then if I want to go dig deeper, I can go online and dig as deep as I want to dig. But at least I know that North Korea didn't launch a nuclear missile
well,
today.
the problem is
what
I just did some digging on something.
Yeah.
And where it sent me, one thing was called the Star, And I
Okay.
know that is not a good resource.
Doesn't seem
The
right. Yeah.
Daily Star, it's a bad publication. And then there's some tabloids that are in England that get you to. The Telegraph is extremely uh, parochial. I mean, it's, I don't know if you call it liberal or conservative
Hmm.
in our sense, but it's got a point of view. It's not just giving you the news.
Yeah.
And the CBS, that news there, yeah, people, CBS is liberal. Well, everything is either liberal or conservative. Fox News has a top of the hour
Yeah.
broadcast too,
Yeah. I've
and
heard
I know
that. Yeah.
I've noticed that it seems to be okay.
Pretty
And the
newsy.
CBS
Yeah.
News did, and I've never had a problem with the radio news. I've heard a couple of little things, little language
Yeah.
used maybe by some of the people on there, or maybe a choice of stories,
Hmm.
how they were told a little bit, maybe more than a little bit in some cases, but not so much that I can't stand it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah. I agree.
it's just, ugh,
It's headlines.
terrible.
It's headlines, but the headlines on CBS, and I will say the same for even Fox or ABC, the headlines were accurate in what they depicted, as opposed to what I see online when I get it. When I get a
well,
headline,
you just get a distorted view of
yes, yeah, yeah,
whatever
yeah.
it is
Yeah,
if
fair.
you get
No,
it
that's fair. That's fair.
online. And these newscasts, the top story, whether it's the plane accident on the
Yeah,
runway in
awful,
LaGuardia,
awful.
or whether it's the flooding in Hawaii,
Awful.
or the meteorite striking a home in Houston,
Mm-hmm.
it just means that somebody took some care to make sure those stories are real and accurate.
Right. Right.
A fact is a fact. The fact that you've had flooding in Hawaii, I guess you have to have somebody who determines what a flood is. But
Yeah.
20 inches of rain in a day,
Yeah, it's a
that's pretty
flood.
much a flood. So I'll make myself a flood expert.
There you go.
But when you hear the news like that in that form,
Yeah.
okay, I'm learning about things that are going on. And then when you start getting into, politics, I mean, when Trump goes to Graceland,
Mm-hmm.
it's not too many ways you can screw that story up. He went to Graceland, he met the people, he listened, he saw, he went to the jungle room, and it was pretty interesting to see,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
a president of the United States there. And that's the only way to tell the story. Well, that liberal nutty press was there with the conservative Donald Trump. I mean, yeah, there's some people that can they can wreck a one-car funeral and tear up an iron ball. But
Yeah, right.
still, story is a story.
Mm-hmm.
Now, here's a story from the Telegraph.
Okay.
Telegraph, again, is in England. It's one of their big daily newspapers.
Okay.
And here's the headline: Trump's 5-day pause, because that's what it is,
Mm-hmm.
buys U.S. Marines precious time. Well, that's taking the approach in that headline that the Marines need the time to get on station, the ones that are on the boat headed over there. And that may or may not be true. Then the next line is: arrival of troops allows U.S. president to consider ground offensive if Tehran does not open the Strait of Hormuz. That's true.
Mm-hmm.
A headline writer wrote that, but it's true. And then it goes on: the U.S. president told reporters he would see how negotiations went. If the deal was not agreed by Friday, he'll just keep bombing our little hearts out. That's absolutely what he said.
Yeah, I watched
The
it. Yep.
31st Marine Expeditionary Unit gives Trump the option of launching a ground operation. That's true. USS Tripoli will arrive on Friday with a whole bunch of Marines, thousands of Marines on board, and under control of the Central. That's all accurate and true.
Mm-hmm.
And I think part of the reason for the 5-day thing absolutely is to give the time for the Marines to get on station.
Now, Iran, in
Because-
the meantime, is bombing everything in sight, right? They're just launching.
Well, with what they've got left.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
we're
yeah.
still bombing them too, but we're careful about what we're bombing. But they're still lobbing missiles to Israel, and
Yeah.
they're and all. I don't know that we're getting the whole story of really how much Iran is able to do. How many missiles have they fired? And either people don't ask the question or no one wants to give that answer. But I'd like to know, how many missiles did Iran shoot yesterday? How many have they shot today in total?
Mm-hmm.
I know they've had some arrive in Israel, a couple of different ones, but is that it? 3, 2?
What is it? Yeah.
They did have thousands. So
No, very interesting.
I
And I
don't know.
also thought it was rather interesting. I think it was a day or two ago where they realized, hey, we thought they could only shoot a missile 1,000 miles. Now it's 2,500
Well, of
miles.
course, yeah, that's totally had to shut the political people up
Yeah.
because, I mean, why did they have all these missiles? I mean, I've heard Megyn Kelly, Piers Morgan, too. I think Tucker Carlson
Yeah.
is in that group of the people that don't approve of the war.
Okay.
And I don't know if they're not allowing themselves to hear facts. I mean, who's a pro? No one's for war. Okay, let's nobody
Right,
wants
right.
to
We
get
don't like it.
into
Yeah.
these wars.
Sure.
My brother, didn't survive post Vietnam and went over there twice. I was trying to think 3 times, but maybe twice.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and I don't want to see anybody in this war.
Nobody does.
I
Yeah.
detest it. I mean, I detest it. But if these crazy religious people in Iran get a nuclear weapon, and they were close, and with the means to administer it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it isn't all about Israel. Look where they shot it. They shot it toward Diego Garcia, of our people out in the Med. They shoot it in Greece. I mean, these things can make Europe. They can make Moscow. They can make all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
And these people are crazy.
Yeah,
I mean,
no doubt about
people
it.
say Muslims. I didn't say Muslims are crazy. I just said the people running Iran are crazy. That
Right.
the religious sect that's up there. Now, who are we talking to? That might be a question that somebody is asking.
Mm-hmm.
And I think this is a guess. Now, this is where you get into journalism, where you're speculating. And I always get after my buddy Ted about speculation.
Yes.
But this is in some I've read. I think you're not dealing. They've cut the head off of 40 deep into the religious clerics,
Right.
and the people that are death to America and all that stuff. The military, I think that's who we're talking to. These are the people that are that are protected. These are the ones that are still able to fire missiles. These are the ones that are they're still the structure, and they're going about it as an army would, as opposed to what some religious order is doing. So in a war, a lot of times soldiers can talk to soldiers even at a high level. And it's happened in world wars before, where you can have a battlefield truce. That didn't get worked out by Hitler and Roosevelt.
Right.
That got worked out by the commanders on the field.
Mm-hmm.
And in the same way with this, that might be going on now, where we're talking to some military leader, who we've made an agreement with that we're not going to cut their head off, at least right now.
Yeah, and it's
And,
unclear. We don't know who that. I mean, I like the
And so I
speculation.
think that's what's going on. And
Yeah.
I think they let a boat or two go through the Strait of Hormuz without bothering it, to show that they could,
Mm-hmm.
that boats could go and they could work it out. So we'll see what happens. But, it's just,
it's a lot.
I just hope we don't get into this thing. Now, some people are claiming that Saudi Arabia is pushing Trump and saying, you can't leave us over here with this wounded animal. You've got to take care of this. You got to complete the job, keep it going.
Yeah.
Until you truly have defanged them.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're going to allow them to have all their oil money and their oil stuff, which apparently they're doing, and we're not destroying. We're not just trying to kill everybody in that country.
Right, because there's a lot of good people that live there.
Right, so we're not trying to do that. We're hitting some very strategic things, but we haven't gone after mass population things or
right, which is good.
Unlike what Iran is doing. I mean, they're just shooting a rocket wherever it lands.
Right.
But we can put it in your address if we want to.
Right, but that's their mindset, Jimmy. I mean, their mindset is destruction, right? If you bomb this, we may launch something to Paris. We don't know. You don't know.
We don't
Nobody
know what
knows.
they're going to do. But these folks, the Megyn Kellys and Tucker Carlsons and
That's
some of those
puzzling
people,
to me.
They're just, that was one of the things that Trump got elected on, was to have supposedly no more foreign wars, no endless wars and all that stuff. And it's true, but Trump got faced with the real world.
Right.
He got faced with a bunch of things in the real world where they were intelligence said that they were getting real close with these with that mountain over there where they had these rockets. that no one knew they had. I don't think,
Well, we do now.
or
Yeah.
at least in the numbers that they've had them mobile and static and
And
every other
size and all of it.
and
Yeah.
size and everything.
Yeah.
And he got intelligence reports, and he and the people in Israel told him about, we know where these people are. We got to act right now. We're going to miss our chance. And he took it.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll see. History will judge whether that was the right thing to do. And then now, with we're seeing what they can do, it seems like people need to back off a little bit and see how dangerous these folks were. Religious oriented, death with America, not thinking logically, just rage,
Right. Right.
and just, damn, death with America. And, that makes me nervous. And particularly if they can lop something that's going to get us. Now, we have another thing going on, but, again, you got to watch where you're getting your news from.
Yeah.
He's been mighty quiet, but not really. The guy over in North Korea,
Kim Jong Un.
he's making some noise these days because he hates the people in South Korea, and he's got his rockets, that can, I don't know, he may have put a satellite up there. I don't know. I don't remember. We haven't covered that. The people hadn't covered that news lately, but he's talking about how, and he hasn't talked bad about not wanting to talk to the Trump administration, but he wants to solidify himself as a nuclear power. And I don't doubt that he is.
What scares me about that is the ability for us to contain two fronts at once.
Well, more than
or
that,
more,
yeah.
or more.
And then, he's talking, then Trump, and I mean, the time, I guess that your time when you have your time is your time.
Mm-hmm.
The whole thing in Venezuela, that seems to be working out. But again, we don't have news people that are covering that. I haven't seen a story from Venezuela.
Yeah.
I mean, it just went away. And so there's no,
which is
New York
interesting.
Times or anybody else. I haven't seen anybody saying,
either.
Are things going good, bad, or whatever?
And that's
That's
interesting.
what I miss in the reporting. It's just complete stories.
No, I agree. And there's something to that too, because a lot of that was about oil and taking back
Right.
some things that we had originally done. And then all of a sudden, here's the other oil problem now starting up over here. And it's limiting, China being able to get their oil and some other countries that are having trouble getting their oil. It's all fascinating. Is it all connected? I have no idea.
Well, then
no
you
idea.
got Cuba.
Yes,
they
you do.
starved Cuba off because of an embargo. Russia would normally try to save them. In the past, they have. But I haven't seen Russia doing anything.
No,
and so Cuba's in blackouts and all this kind of stuff. And I mean, it's a third world place and run by hardcore communists. And in the past, people got their hands burned a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
They started investing down there, and Canadians I know went to Cuba on vacation, and a number of other people were going down there
Yeah, sure.
on the North Shore of Cuba. They were building. I think Bill O'Reilly went down there for a couple of days to see what it was like. And yeah, while things were bad and some of the hotels were iffy, about whether they were that good or not, but a lot of people want to go to all the big chains want to make that a resort in Cuba.
Wow, interesting.
And they all want to go down there
Interesting.
and make that the new Jamaica or the new whatever.
Yeah, no
And I
thanks.
don't doubt that they could. I'm sure it's beautiful if they want to, with all the history of Cuba. But you got to keep the communists from coming in there and taking over everything again.
Right.
So that place is a mess right now. And and then you hear, well, Trump's going to take it over. I can take it over by force. I don't know. Sometimes I wish he just wouldn't talk so much.
Yeah,
I
I
mean,
agree. I agree.
But he is open. You got to say that about the guy. I mean,
Transparent as
you
heck,
ask him
man.
a question, he'll answer. You might not like his answer, but he does give the answer on that. But you got Cuba going on, and we don't really know what's going on. Remember, they also, when who was it? Obama opened up Cuba and had us do on, the U.S. embassy was rebuilt or whatever, and then they came in there and zapped us with these hearing things with the ear. Remember that?
Yeah, what was that
Where they
called?
nearly
Some kind
killed
of
the
syndrome.
people and
It was
people are permanently injured
something
from the
syndrome.
spy stuff
Havana.
or whatever was going on there.
Havana syndrome. That's what that was
Yeah,
called.
the Havana syndrome.
Yeah, that's right.
And you can't trust the people running that country. And so unless you have regime change in a deep way, I don't know how you deal with all
Do you
that.
think your years of doing this, right, of reporting the news and digesting the news on a daily, hourly basis, do you think there can be a regime change in Iran? Or will they always just support the one way?
Well, no, you go back to the Bible days. I mean, they've always had all these fiefdoms and kings and potentates and all, and it's been a very the poor people and the rich people. It was really, which is what we're trying not to become in this country, where it's just billionaires and poor people.
Yeah, which we are headed that way.
And that's sort of in another way how they've run things over in the Middle East since the Bible days, where you had, king this and king that.
And then the rest.
The king declares, kill all the babies. Remember all that?
Yeah.
And so you've had that always there. And I don't think that's, that's deep.
I agree. I agree with you. I'm just curious what your thoughts were, because
I just don't think you. No, I mean, you've got people who are more crazier than other people.
Yeah.
So you need to, but you look at World War II, you had Hitler in charge of Germany, and they had him go kill himself or whatever happened to him.
Yeah.
And his people, some of them were murdered, some of them killed themselves.
Yeah.
A few of them went to prison, few of them ran out of the country and went to South America.
Yeah, and Germany did come around. I mean, you remember?
And Germany is we're driving BMWs and people work for German companies. Same way with Japan.
Yeah,
Japan was totally run by the emperor, and he had a lot of crazy, enough people where they were willing to get into an airplane and fly it into an aircraft carrier.
Yeah.
These kamikazes, they thought they were doing a very great thing.
I agree, but those were not religious-based
religion to
ideology or whatever.
It wasn't about God. It was about religion was the emperor.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, okay, fair.
Japan,
yeah.
He was God.
So
he was
almost,
the God on earth.
Yeah, almost
and in Hitler,
cult-like,
Hitler was a political thing, and he didn't believe in religions, but it was authoritarian. It was, we're in charge, and if you don't like it, we're going to chop your head off.
Right, which nobody wants, right, yeah.
And that's how they run things in a lot of places in Africa. Mm-hmm. A lot of these, whatever they call them, that run some of these things, warlords, that's right.
Yeah.
Warlords that exist. That's how the world has kind of spun around for a long time. And that's why if you don't appreciate this country, you got to screw loose, because, man, go try making it in some of these other places that are authoritarian, where you were really authoritarian.
Yeah, where you speak out and the next day you're gone.
I mean, there are elements of our society, of course, that's authoritarian.
Yeah, of course.
Because we have laws and we have rules. Mm-hmm. You may not like them all. You may not like the fact that we have a speed limit, and if you go over it, you're subject to something happening to you.
Yeah.
And you may not like it that there are abortion rules and just all kinds of rules. But you go try to find a place that has everything you like, and that's where you live. And if you can't live, under the laws here, then you move on to Costa Rica, or where some people live.
Yeah.
And some retirees, they can't take it, so they move to Mexico. There are a lot of Americans.
Yeah.
They get their Social Security payments in central Mexico, and they live pretty good, from what I understand.
Yeah, it's interesting. I've seen some of that. Where can expats go and things like that to live more cheaply and what
more cheaply, or I know people that are that leave one state or another because they can't stand the government in that state.
I know a lot of people.
It's called California right now. There are a lot of. I think there are more people leaving than there are going in.
I would even throw some Washington into that mix. There's Oregon. I see a lot of transplants, at least where we are. Where we are.
Yeah, they're going to Idaho. They're going to Texas.
Yeah,
they're going to Tennessee,
Florida.
And they're going to Florida.
Yeah,
and then less or so other places. I mean, the tax structure in some of the southern cities,
it doesn't work.
It's terrible.
Yeah,
I mean,
I agree.
You go to the place like in Alabama, in Jefferson County. They to get a car tag on a brand new, let's say F-150.
Yeah,
it's $700, $800.
Oh, let me introduce you to the state of Idaho, and I'm not by any means the lieutenant governor or trying to recruit anybody here, but I paid $60 for 2 years. And I won't tell you what kind of car.
Tennessee was something like that.
It's so
even
cheap.
In Davidson County. I mean,
so
and they
cheap.
had no income tax. Alabama's got income tax. Alabama's got taxes out the butt. And you still, and then what do you have?
Yeah.
So I mean, it just and some people don't want to live in a place like in Alabama because they can't deal with the local politics. So you got to go where you're comfortable, and sometimes you just tolerate what's going on, and then because you're not going to change it because it's deep.
I
It's
got
deeply
friends.
political in the South. It hasn't. It's changed,
Yeah.
but there's still a lot of roots that aren't that far from 1861 in the
Yeah.
Civil War.
Oof, boy.
It's not.
I got
And
friends.
there are a lot of people out west that are cuckoo as a bedbug because they can't stand to be having anybody as a government.
Yeah.
They want to
Yeah,
live
that's
up
true.
in the woods, and they don't want to be anybody. They want to be off the grid.
Yeah, that's true. But
There's just,
I still
everybody's
have
got
great
their own thing.
I have
Everybody's got it.
great friends that are in California, and I'll ask them, "How can you stand to
Yeah.
stay there? With all the crap that's going
the
on
taxes and the just
there. Oh,
the
it's
crazy
so
laws
hard to
and-
do business
and everything.
Yeah, and they have roots there. They have family there that they're never going to go. They're
Yeah.
just never going to go. So they
Well,
put
that's
up with
another
it.
that's another part of it is having family somewhere and everything.
Yeah.
But it's just where our country is in its evolution right now. We always had the Hatfields and the McCoys.
Yeah, we did.
And and feuds among families in East Tennessee, Kentucky,
Yeah,
Virginia.
sure. Yeah,
And now we have it sometimes on the football stadium or the basketball court. We have
Oh,
feuding
yeah.
schools, which is a little, very similar. That's just how we are as people.
Mm-hmm.
I think we see it in soccer teams, where everybody's so red. Oh, they want to die for their soccer team
Yeah.
or football team, as they call it in some places.
Mm-hmm.
So it goes back to, again, it's the nature of people. You try to, congregate with people who have like minds.
I would agree with that.
Same way
Yeah.
with why people go to certain churches, or whether they're Catholic or Jewish or Protestant, they go where they think that people think like them about certain things.
You are right on the money. I remember when we had kids, and you had a couple of girls yourself
Yeah.
over the years, and now you have a big family, a big clan kind of.
Yeah.
But when you have little kids, you also associate with other people who have little kids, and you kind of
Yeah,
hang
general.
out. Yeah, you don't go hang out with single people when you got kids.
No,
'cause-
it's really difficult. if
Right,
you
right.
do.
You lose friends sometimes because it's like, hey, you want to
Yeah.
go to the bar or you want to go out? No, I got kids. I can't. We're going to soccer, and so it's true, and that's how we operate as a society. I think.
So you can't get. I mean, you just try not. And then when it gets crazy, then you have things like Civil War, or you have other things. I mean, we've gotten so. I'm trying to find the word, and it's division is a word.
Yeah,
but I mean,
I use polarized,
look
but
at,
I
look at
don't.
the difference in how people look. For example, at Minnesota right now.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I used to go to Minnesota when I was doing movie stuff. We
I've
went to
stopped there many
Minneapolis
times. Yeah.
a couple times and stuff. But it seems politically it's always been a little wacky.
Yeah. I
Because
would
remember,
agree.
Minnesota's where they had Jesse the Body Ventura.
Ventura, yeah,
was
yeah.
a governor.
That's right.
And that's somebody who was
Little off.
really not not your standard issue
Yeah.
Republican or
Yeah,
Democrat.
fair.
And then you had Hubert Humphrey, who was a
Also.
kind of a blue-blooded Democrat, and you've had all kinds of
Yeah,
crazy.
that's true. That is true.
And but I don't know where they are right now. I don't know if it's because of immigration that they're leaning more to really deep blue, or what it is. But it doesn't seem to relate to the people in Texas very well.
I would agree
And
with
then
that.
Texas is a state that's changing because of immigration, not from Mexico, but from California and New York.
It's true, and I would say the
It's
same.
that kind of immigration, and it's in full effect in places like Dallas. That's more and more a blue city and a blue region.
I would say that's happening in all of the red states.
And Boise.
and
Yeah,
Boise as well, and places in Florida where people are trying. Not as much in Florida as it is on the western
Yeah, there
side.
seems to be, when I know there's been a heck of a lot of people that have come down, if in Miami particularly, but there's got so many things going on there, between
that's a
the
melting pot.
Cuban people that have come and
Yeah, all that.
and then the immigration from other places, and like every lawyer's mama lives in Miami that works in New York City.
And you're
know?
right. You're right. But the thing I think of when you say these things, and I say them too, like California, oh, it's left, blah blah blah. But you think about it, we go by the voting, right? We look at the voting and we go, oh, they're definitely a red state. Oh, they're a blue state. They're a red state. They're a blue state. And that is true. But when you think about it, there are people from both sides in every state.
Oh, and
You
then
know,
and
and
they
it,
fight like
like,
the Hatfields and
yes, they
McCoys
do.
because
Yes, they
in
do.
Florida, for example,
Yeah.
the Northwest Florida is red as a beet.
Mm-hmm.
Anything north of the University of Florida, there, Tallahassee,
Yeah.
Jacksonville, uh, Panama City, Destin,
Mm-hmm.
Pensacola, all those places, that's red country.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
red country. Then you start getting to Orlando, it's blue.
Isn't that
It's
wild?
blue as the ocean
And they
around
congregate, but they do it
Orlando.
within the states as well as
Yeah, they
just the states.
congregated sections, and
Yeah.
because they
Yeah.
put when they had one of the bad things that happened in Puerto Rico, whatever it was, either a hurricane or something, they moved thousands of Puerto Ricans to Orlando,
Mm-hmm.
and Orlando was glad to have them because they needed people to work in the hotels at Disney.
Perfect. Yeah.
And so, but on the other hand, it's become a real, blue area there, big time blue area,
Mm-hmm.
surrounded by red in a state, and that just causes trouble. You head toward the beach and it's red, but that city of Orlando is blue.
Interesting. I had no
In
idea.
Miami, it's got its whole up and down there. There's some blue. There's blue, but there's also some people that are Cuban immigrants and others that make some of the area red.
Mm-hmm.
So Florida's all over the place. So is California, for that matter.
It really
you go
is.
out
Yeah, it really is.
in not Sacramento, but down there, where they grow all the food.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty red out there.
Yeah.
San Bernardino out
yeah.
to the east, and
San
I can't remember
Joaquin
all my
Valley.
cities there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the San Joaquin Valley and all that. That's
Yeah.
red.
Yeah.
And then, and of course, the big cities are blue.
Yeah. It's interesting. It
But
just,
Orange County, used to be pretty red. I don't know that it is anymore.
I don't
The
know.
area around Disneyland, that was a Republican congressman, but now they've redistricted.
I can tell you
know,
this. My
trying to
wife is
look
there
at it.
right now. She's in a city named Irvine.
Yeah, Irvine.
And it's interesting, she says, right now. She hasn't been there in a while. And she said it's very, she didn't feel unsafe. She just felt uncomfortable. Is that fair to say?
Unsafe. Yeah, I think it's unsafe.
Okay,
I think
maybe she.
I think there's a lot of places out there, heck of a lot of places in Southern California, you don't want to go.
Yeah.
And, and we've seen it even in Beverly Hills,
Yeah, that's true.
where they've had home invasions and bad things,
Yeah, that's true.
go on. It's nothing everywhere. West Hollywood, you name it, they've had bad stuff go on. And, they've got things that are out of control. But I don't know how people, I love it out there with the weather. I used to anyway.
Best thing
And
about
now
it.
it's just gotten so expensive. That's another thing too, the cost of being in California. I mean, if you made $80,000
Shoot,
in
that's nothing there.
Alabama,
Yeah.
in Alabama,
Oh, Alabama, yeah.
you better make 150 out there to
Yeah.
be able to spend the same amount of money.
Well, I just got back. I did that trip. I did a trip, and we paid almost $9 a gallon for gas, and soup and salad and an iced tea for one person, $54. Soup and salad. I'm not even talking about a steak.
Really?
A steak.
And
or
where was
anything.
this?
Napa Valley.
Oh, in Napa Valley. Okay.
Napa Valley. But the whole,
Wow.
a round of golf was $200. A round of
Wow.
golf where I am is $35. So
Yeah, I just don't. That's just a whole nother world.
you got to earn a lot of money.
to
You got to,
me-
it's crazy. It's
I
crazy.
mean, I've been pricing stuff, and I'm getting things off season, so I'm
Yeah.
pretty happy with the prices I've seen.
Yeah.
On this trip going out west and
Yeah.
driving from Nashville to Las Vegas and then driving back, and I've been pretty happy with what I've seen in prices. I'm sure gas is going to be horrid.
Oh,
You know,
yeah.
that's
It's going to
gonna be
cost you a little
bad. That's
bit.
gonna
No doubt
cost
about
us
it.
for- That's going to cost us a fortune. But
Las
but
Vegas.
hotels, and you just got to be careful in where when you're planning these vacations. And I've been doing nothing but doing that lately.
Yeah.
You just got to read about these hotels. They've got reviews in TripAdvisor and some of these other things, and you
And
got to
they're
be
real.
careful where you stay because some of these places have some really bad notices because of bed bugs, and now
Oof.
people. A lot of these hotels are allowing animals
Yeah.
in their dogs, and I love my dog, but I don't know if Loretta over here needs to go with me everywhere I'm going.
Hey,
And,
when we go
and
to
in the hotels, I mean, I guess that's what you do these days, but I don't know if they're in there really doing a COVID type of job
Yeah.
after every night. And so
Well-
you really need to read the hotels reviews, and hopefully, and everybody needs to do a review. If you have a
Yeah.
good time, you need to say it. If you had a bad time, you need to post it, and it helps everybody else. And I think that's real important to help
By the
other
way,
people.
since we're talking about your trip and we talked about Vegas, are we going to go to the Sphere while we're there? Maybe.
Well,
I mean,
I mean, I want to,
Yeah.
but here's the deal.
Okay.
Number one, well, I think who's going to be there when we're there, and I'm not that, I'm not going to pay 150, 200, whatever, 300 a seat
Yeah.
to see Gwen Stefani. I'm just not.
Okay,
That's just
that's
not. I mean, I like her as a person, but that's not my music. and
Okay,
I'm not
yeah,
gonna
that's-
pay
that's fair.
that to see her. Even
Okay.
in
So
the
if it's
Sphere.
somebody we want to see, we could go.
But there's nobody in there. I mean, and
Well-
then on an off day, like during the day or something, they do the Wizard of Oz. Now that might happen, but it's still, I think, $150 a seat.
Is it really that expensive?
Even during
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay.
yeah, it's high. It's very high.
Yeah.
And I know it's expensive to do. I don't know is the answer to that. And their shows, out there are very priced ridiculously.
Mm-hmm.
The shows are, you're not going to find a seat for 150, 200.
Yeah.
It's
All right. Well,
I mean, we maybe ended up paying that for something, but I don't know. Right now, Blake Shelton's playing Caesars, I think,
oh, well,
and it's going to be
yeah.
$200 a seat, I bet, if that. And
I think my sister just saw the Eagles there with Vince Gill.
yeah, the Eagles are in and
Yeah.
out, but they're not there while we're there.
Nah, March,
They're just
no,
about
March.
done, as a matter of fact.
Let's see. Their last day is March 28th. You're right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And so they were there. They're there next week. They were there last week.
Yeah.
So anyway, it's just
right.
you got to really read up about these hotels, some of
Okay.
the cleanliness and some of the other stuff, and you just want to, kind of get a sense. And if it's too cheap,
There's a reason.
probably ought to consider not being there.
Listen,
I
take
saw
it.
some hotels that were like in Nebraska
Yeah.
that were part of the Hilton chain. They were like 105, 110, 120.
That's cheap.
Really cheap.
Yeah, that's cheap.
And I'm worried about the cleanliness and what they're doing there.
I agree, and I'm a hotel snob, so you're going to catch me at the Venetian or something. That's where I'm going to be.
Yeah.
I got maybe
We're staying at something at the Conrad, which is supposed to be real
nice. Yeah. One of the nice big hotels. That's where you go.
Yeah, big hotels.
But those aren't everywhere,
I'm not trying to save money on certain things.
Right.
It is, and again, they're nasty people that are rich that
Yeah,
do nasty things. So you just
true.
want to read about whether if you have a complaint, is the staff compliant? If you go in there, you can always find a hair or something.
Yeah.
In the bathroom or something that they've missed. But most really good cleaning staffs pretty much don't miss anything.
Yeah, if
Too
they're
much.
good. If they're good.
Too
yeah.
much.
Yeah.
Yeah, and particularly in the bathroom that you just want. So you really need to read the reviews, though, and everywhere has them. And sometimes they don't have enough, and then you may not need to stay there.
Yeah. Fair enough.
And you need to be careful. And it's just the world that it is today. And it's whether or not you're going to find something that you have news that you believe in.
Mm-hmm.
But I think, everybody needs to try to pass it down to their children that they need to be alert and aware of the world around them.
Yeah, I think that's
And
fair.
I don't mean whether you don't, I would not push a political viewpoint on your children because as you grow, as you know, we don't have the same opinion at 10 as we do at 20 that we do at 30. We don't have the same opinions about things when we're single versus when we get married and have children. Everything view changes about a lot of stuff.
You're right, and I think that a lot of times.
So you can't really beat up people for that.
I agree. I mean, even my own kids who were raised in a certain kind of household, right, sometimes have differing views, maybe.
Oh, they do,
on
and
the
some
same
of it's based on their friends, and a lot of times it's wrong.
Yeah.
And I've got some younger members of my family that, that they see the world differently because their world hasn't been challenged in their life.
Yeah,
They haven't had anybody invade the country.
Mm-hmm.
They haven't had any soldiers pretty much coming back dead from a war.
Yeah,
A war that is ill-defined.
And I mean, it's just exactly what you said, but it's life experience. I mean, here you know, sit at a certain age and you have double the life experience. So you've seen
yeah.
a big vast thing. I used to think to myself with my grandmother, oh, she's just complaining about the Bay Bridge, or she's complaining about the Congress, or she's complaining about, but she's seen so much that she knows exactly what's going to happen. She's not Nostradamus. She's just seen it happen, and it happened again. Every time she would say it, it would happen again. And I thought, wow, our older generation is a wealth of knowledge, and we got to tap into that.
Oh, that's always been true. My father used to tell me, spend time with older people and listen to them because they've been there. You know, they know.
Yeah, 100%.
And it's just about listening to people with experience.
Yeah.
And people who are rational.
Yeah.
Not people who are just all, you know. I just think it's just I'm really in this country. I am turned off by people on the far right and the far left. They just gross me out.
I think
They
there's
really do.
more and
Now,
more
I
of
don't mean
that.
everybody should be namby-pamby and be in the middle. But the extreme views of both of those people are just, it's like they're blind.
Yeah.
All they can see is what they see. And,
Yeah,
and I don't
it's like
know.
it's almost like a cult behavior.
You know, and it's become like a cartoon.
Yeah.
When you watch the Sunday shows, these anchors on there, Margaret Brennan and whoever the other ones are, like the one at NBC and the
Yeah.
one there, they're like attack dogs. They're like German shepherds on a leash with whoever the person is, you know, that they're going after.
Oh.
And it's like they don't even listen to the answer. You know, they're just saying, hey, what about this? And no, you did this. And, well, okay, no, we didn't do this. We did this.
Yeah.
Well, regardless, what you know, it's wow. What happened to having someone that can have like a reasonable debate about something
I
where you're
don't
not all this
know.
attack gotcha journalism that's out there, you know? And yeah, there's a place for that sometimes. If you're really bad people you're going after, yeah, you can
Yeah. Yeah.
you can do that, but it's just, you know, in civility. Boy, we're lacking.
Yeah, boy.
We're lacking that so bad. And unfortunately, the president plays into that. But, you know, he shouldn't say, I mean, like when, what's his name? Robert Mueller, the former FBI director, who was a political nabob for the people on the left side.
Yeah.
He was not on our team, you know, I guess you would say if you were Republican.
Yeah.
But to have the president say, oh, he's dead, good.
Is
You
that what he
don't say
said? Did he
that.
say that?
Yes, he said good.
Oh, I don't like
You know, and again, and I'm sure that's what he thought. And that's what a lot of people on the right thought.
Well-
but sometimes keep your thoughts to yourself.
I don't disagree. When the whole Charlie Kirk thing came out, you know, and I don't
And some
know.
people went out and said, good, Charlie Kirk is dead. That is so wrong.
I don't even know
So
Charlie Kirk. I never listened much to him. I did after all this happened, but before that, when they said, "Did you hear about Charlie Kirk?" and I said, "Oh no, who's Charlie Kirk?" You know, but I'm never going to wish that on my worst enemy. It's kind of
No,
like
that you want to see him somebody splattered out on top. I mean, that was terrible, 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 terrible.
I
And
agree.
we saw it when I'm old enough to have seen it in the 6th grade when President Kennedy was killed.
yeah,
I lived in the South.
was
and
there
people
hate
came in
with
and they
that
were
too?
happy about it.
really.
They were thrilled. Oh my God, yeah.
God, I haven't met anybody in my lifetime
Because that
didn't
was,
love
well,
him.
you weren't living in the South.
Yeah,
Kennedys weren't real popular,
Yeah,
you know,
interesting.
in the deep South.
Oh yeah.
So, and he, you know, and obviously wasn't popular in Texas. Who knows what that all was about?
That's
but it's
wild.
just, you know, it's people on the opposite ends and with people that tried to kill Trump.
yeah, true.
You know,
That's true.
these last 2 assassins, whoever they are, one of them dead and one of them in jail.
Mm-hmm.
People get these extreme things, and that's the only way they know how to get an answer is to do that. But civility would calm down a lot of that extreme behavior. You know,
I agree.
people that make ICE, these immigration people that are working in airports this week, they're seeing that they don't have horns and they're not just killers that have walked
who
off
was
a scary movie.
Who was the member of Congress that came out and said, "Oh, they're going to snatch you"? Was it? Oh gosh.
Oh, this could be any one of the crazy
yeah, that's
ones.
true. Doesn't even matter. It said that they were going to pull you out of line and probably take your life, or could take your life,
Yeah,
or whatever.
I mean,
I'm
that's
like,
the kind of
kidding me?
rhetoric that's coming from the far left.
Yeah.
That's really cuckoo.
Was it Joaquin
It's-
Jeffries? Is that who?
Oh, I
what is
wouldn't.
it?
I hope that he's not that crazy, but it could have been. It could have been.
It's just crazy.
Because he said the other day, he said Trump should shut his something mouth.
Oh,
That's not appropriate. You don't say that about the president. Both sides are wrong.
yeah. Joaquin
Both
Jeffries.
sides are wrong.
Joaquin Jeffries.
Learn. I mean, we need to get back to some kind of civility, just to
I
calm
agree.
down the rhetoric and calm down people. We shouldn't let our children. This whole. And I heard it just today. UK has a new Saturday Night Live UK, and they're allowed to cuss on there because of where it's running it. So they can use the F word and the S word for
Really?
excrement and all
Okay.
that. So they can talk, and they practiced doing that on the clip that I saw. They could say it, and no one can bleep them.
Wow, fascinating.
That's gutter. It's not. It shouldn't be in polite society. If a
No,
boys
I
want to
agree.
do it in the men's room at a gym or something, they
I
say
agree.
something. That I'm not even sure that's okay, but it's okay. But just in public speech, over broadcasting, over that type of thing, it's not appropriate. It's not right.
Okay, now you got me all down a rabbit hole now, and we got to wind this up. But I'm looking at NYC Today. This is just a story. This is the quote that Joaquin Jeffries made. ICE will potentially brutalize, will potentially kill Americans at airports, unquote.
That's just the most
Hakeem Jeffrey.
ridiculous,
He is the
stupid thing.
He's the House
I don't know what
Minority
to do to
Leader.
people that say stupid stuff like that.
I don't
mean,
either, but whoever wrote this article said, listen to this. Here's the takeaway. Jeffrey's comments highlight the ongoing concerns about the conduct and oversight of federal immigration enforcement agencies. What? That's the takeaway you got
That's just
from that?
unbelievable.
I just don't get it. I don't get it. I just don't get it. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I understand the fact that people don't want this to be a communist country, and I get where they go down that rabbit hole.
Absolutely, you don't want that, but on the other hand, you can't just throw out
The laws
the fact
we
that they
have,
should have body cameras. I have no problem with.
I don't either. Yeah.
But I don't. I think in some situations they're not masked at the airport now.
No.
But if they're on a raid somewhere, I think they can do that.
I just don't get
I
it.
don't know why they should really, but I don't even. Maybe not. Maybe they shouldn't even. If you're on a SWAT team or something, I don't know if all that
I
mask mandate stuff. I don't know about all that.
Here's what my take is on that, because I think of like a SWAT team or a tactical team that is rounding up, drug, lords and stuff like that. They don't want any of their people to tell them who's doing it, so that they
And
can
so
go
that's it.
after
So
them and
they-
kill
they-
them. Yeah.
They cover up when they're doing
Yeah, so, I
a
mean-
drug lord raid and some of that. And that's okay.
Yeah.
They need to be a little stealth, but you got to be very limited in that type of thing.
Yeah, but I mean, if they're rounding
And
up,
maybe they got a little bit. I think they got a little too crazy up there in Minneapolis, and I think that was because they were getting no help from the local police.
yeah, it's
They weren't-
frustrating.
Obviously, had the people could violate traffic laws,
Do whatever the hell they want,
street
yeah.
loitering, and every other law in the world.
Yeah.
In some kind of named protest, and so they were just trying to keep from getting hurt a lot of the times.
Mm-hmm.
And it learned it was a bunch of bads made it really bad.
Yeah.
Is what happened up there, and everybody has to take responsibility.
But so far, I'll just say this: I haven't heard of anybody at an airport getting shot or killed or taken out of line and beaten.
Right,
to
it's
death.
just-
I haven't seen it. Well, that's going to do it for us this week. Until we do it again next week, right here on Sweeping the Country. I'm Derek Walker. Whew, he is.
Jimmy Carter, good day.